In this video, we're going to continue adding more content to our website. If you've been following the series of videos that we've put together, you notice that we've finished the top header, we've got the banner with parallax effect, and we've got the headline with big button, and we've added additional areas of content to our site. And we ended in this section right here, which is with the animated numbers, the statistic numbers that we've used in the last video. Okay, so I highly recommend for you to continue to follow us and put together your own site. Okay, so now we're going to go back to the template that we were following, and the section we're going to replicate is actually the what we do. So let's go back here, and let me click on the footer, drag it down so we can create more space to work with, a little bit more. There you have it. And the first thing we're going to do is add text. And I wanted to show you something real quick. Once you get the hang of it, you find some shortcuts using the editor. So for instance, if I know that I'm going to use the same H1 and I've got something on the page, I can just click, or basically any element you can select, Command C, Command V, you basically copy it and paste it, and now you can just drag and drop it anywhere you want. So double click, Command A to select the whole thing. Go ahead and let's change it to a dark gray, and I'm going to type in what we do. I'm going to select the whole thing and center this, and now since we've talked about in earlier videos, we can center the grid by using this little round thing right here and with the guide. Okay, so or the other way you can do this is just by dragging and dropping right here in the vertical lines, stretching it out all the way to each side, and it's going to be centered. Okay, so the next thing we got to do is add some pictures, right? So these are the pictures of services that you provide, and you're going to tell the world that these are the services you provide. So but check this out, how we're going to do this. First off, we're going to go to add, and we're going to add the box. I'm going to add this blue box. I'm going to stretch it out. I know it's a little bit big, but hang with me tight and you'll see what we're going to do. So the next thing is we're going to add an image. So go back to add and go to image. We're going to select that. We're going to make it smaller so it fits our square, sort of square. And the other thing is we gotta, let's add some text, right? So text, and we're going to get the large text and put underneath it so we can add a title to it. Double click, and this is one of the services. You can type basically anything for your business and put number 1, right? Okay, let's make it a little bit bigger, all right, and the text all the way to the end of the image. And we're going to add another small text, which is just a filler and description of what you do. We're going to copy and paste a couple times, and again we're going to align with the image above, and we're going to justify so it makes it look a little bit better. Now, so check this out. So this is a box, and right now you can use this to basically be a placeholder, right? So it's what's a placeholder? Basically, if I drag and drop anything inside this box, because it's a box, let me put it out. Do you see how the rest of the screen turned blue? It's because it's saying that this image is now linked to the page, not to the box. If I move the box, just the text moves with it. If I move it back, and you see when my mouse is going to scroll, hover over the shape, now the shape itself, you're not seeing it because it's the shape itself is blue, but it's turning blue, which is telling me that it's now linked to that shape. So if I move the shape now, everything moves with it. It goes for all the text and everything else that's inside the shape. And if I want to resize it, I can do that just by moving like this. Let's go ahead and resize and put it over here, and I can just move it and make it like so. Okay, so check this out. We're gonna just go ahead and align, and then right click appearance, and you can select the style of shape you want. For this one, we're just gonna add a new style, and we're gonna do gray. Select that, and we're gonna select the color gray, which is a light gray. Now, one thing to keep in mind is this, that anytime you create a new style, let me go back to appearance. This is a style, so anywhere on the page or on my site that I'm using this box and I'm using a particular style, you got to make sure that you are either creating new styles or changing the ones that you want to change throughout. Because if I'm using the transparent and I've got other transparent styles, other boxes on this page that are transparent, and I go and change it to a different color, all the boxes will change to the same color. Okay, so just keep that in mind, and I'll show you a little bit more, like an example in just a little bit. So let's go ahead and do a little trick right here. Once I know that this is what I want, I can copy, make sure to select the shape holder, right, the placeholder shape, copy and paste, and we're gonna duplicate the entire thing. Now you see that it's too big and it's going to take up the whole screen, so what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and delete this, and we're going to resize it to not make it so big, and I can double click here and select a different style font like this medium size instead, and now I can just resize the whole thing. Okay, and right here resize this box. Once it's how I like, I'm going to center this with the guideline and then just move over to this side, copy and paste, and move it over to the other side, just making sure that I've got the same amount of space, and you can use the ruler right here to be more specific if you would like. So once I kind of know where I want the shapes to be, I can always use a guide and then move everything to snap to the guide. Okay, so you see how it's snapping? Now it's centered. All right, so what I need to do is just change the image now. So I can, one is double click and change the text. So if I want to type in, like, this is the service number 2 that I provide, and this is the service number 3 that I provide, and these are the pictures that I'll change. So right click, change image. We're going to pick, let's see, this one right here, and I go here and right click and choose this one right here. Oh, sorry. Let's go ahead and confirm, change image, and let's get the grape one, and one more, change image, and let's get this one right here. Okay, so now I've got my pictures picked out, and as you can see, it's similar to this, but you notice that the box is actually white or transparent, so there's no light gray. So check this out. We've got 3 light gray boxes, and I'm going to select that, right click appearance, and then right here where it says gray, I'm going to go over to the engine icon, and then I'm going to change it to, actually I'll delete the color, and you see how everything gets deleted. Okay, so that's a shortcut, and then if you want to later on add color, you can do that as well. All right, so now we've got 2 rows of the same thing, and I'll show you a little trick. So we're going to go ahead and add a banner. I'm going to select the blue one, move it down. Let me resize it to make sure that, let's get rid of this for now. Move it down, get it on top of everything, make sure that it's on top. All right, so we're going to go ahead and right click appearance, and we're going to do row trans. Okay, so it's a transparent row, and we're going to select that, but let me show you something before I change the color. Okay, let's go back to that. So this row is sitting on top of all my content, right? So as you can see, I can move up and down and nothing happens. But if I right click, you see that there's layers, right? And it says 10. Basically what it is it's telling me that there are 9 other objects or apps that are underneath this top layer, which is the 10th layer. So if I want to, what I want to do is just push everything down, or this layer, all the way back. So I'm going to go ahead and click all the way to 0, and now I know that it's sitting in the background. And I want to make sure that all these different shapes are linked to this row. So to do that, I just click and move. Now it turned blue, and I just drop. Let go, click, and let go. Now if I move the row, everything, oh, that one didn't snap. let's make sure that that one is also snapped. So I'll just select again, move it out, move it back in. You just got to make sure that the mouse is hovering over the section. Okay, so now it is. So I can move the whole thing as so. Okay, right click, and we're going to change the appearance. We're going to turn this into row trans, which is transparent. And now if I want to duplicate, I'll just make sure that the row is selected, and then I'll copy and paste, actually duplicate it, and copy, click and drag. Alright, so we're going to drag all the way to the bottom and fit it right here. And then the only thing you have to do now is just change the images. So we're going to click the image, and we're going to change. We're going to pick like oranges. We're going to pick the other services that we have that we provide. So just go ahead and click all these different images and add some more. Okay, so let me finish doing this. Let's get some strawberries, and then you can change the text just as we normally would. Okay, so the next section is actually another row, which is going to be from like a red row. Let me show you this part right here. To do that is very simple. Plus sign and banner. We're going to select a banner right here. Move over to the bottom. Make sure that it's not as big. Let's make it smaller like that. Right click, appearance, and then we're going to add a style. We're going to call it red. We're going to confirm and make sure that you're working with the same one. Engine icon, and right here is where I first off need to make sure that I'm selecting the full width banner, and then the color, I'm going to select this red right here. Okay, so one thing I wanted to show you also with the colors is that we can change this color, or actually let's go to appearance, the engine, and let's say I want something darker, but it's not the same, or none of these colors are going to work. So I can go to more colors and then select and drop like the one that I want. Let's go right here. Alright, you can also drop the RGB code here, and it's going to pick up the code or the right color. Once I know the color that I want, I can just click save color, and now it's in my favorites. Okay, see how cool that is. So now that it's in my favorites, I can go all the way up to the top, select the top navigation bar, appearance, and then the engine option, click here, and then right here I just select the one that I saved, and it changes. And that goes for all the other sections that you have on the site. See how cool it is, and it's much easier for you to change things up. Okay, so now let me go ahead and add the text. So let's finish this page up right quick, double click, and let's see what it says. Liked our services, question mark. So liked our services, and we're going to make it white and bold, right? So let me move this out of the way, put it right here, and add some text. Copy and paste that one. Let's leave it right here. Select the whole thing, make sure that it's aligned left instead, and I drag all the way here. Okay, now you can create a new button if you would like for instance, I can come in here and create a new button. Just pick any, let's say for appearance, let's do white border. Okay, confirm, and then I'll select, and you'll see that I can go solid and select the size of the border that I want. So it's about 2 pixels, and instead of black, let's go ahead and pick white. And the hover, I want the same thing too. I don't want it to change color, or I can make it a little darker, like a grayish. Okay, so it gives that effect, or even darker, so it's more noticeable. Okay, and so let's go ahead and click that one. And then the round borders, you can do 100%, so we can make it round. Okay, so there you have it, and let's go ahead and change the text now. The text color, instead, let's go white. And if I want to change the font, let me go up here and change the font. So let's select, let's see, the Arial Black, and we're going to make it a little bit bigger. What does it say? Get a free quote. So we right click, text, get a free quote. This one right here. Now I just stretch, I can make it a little bit bigger, and there you have it. So same functions you have as the one from the top. We changed it up just a little bit. This one is great. I think ours look a little bit better, to be honest with you. I like the big buttons because it calls attention and it's very noticeable. That's what you want. Okay, don't forget to save your site every so often so you don't make your changes in case you hit the button or something like that. So the next area is the contact us. So we're going to go ahead and create the contact. Let's click this one right here, copy and paste, move it all the way down here. So I just have to place it right here, double click, contact us, right? Copy and paste the text, same thing. If I want to center the text, let's select that, but center with the page. I want to make sure that I click the row, and then I'll use the guide and put it right in between those circles, and then I can align this one right there and this one right here. Let me put it right underneath it. Okay, alright, so let me get rid of this for now and show you that we've got the contact form. So let's go ahead and add a contact form. So we've got two contact forms. One is a contact form so people can get in touch with you or just send you a message, and the other one is the email marketing. We're just going to touch on the contact form for now in this video. We're going to, you've got several options right here that are pre-made. We're just going to go ahead and pick the first one. So now you've got it on the screen. Let's get this out of the way so it's easier to see. And obviously you've got your first name, email, subject, and please enter the text, right? We can configure all of that in the fields that you want to show. So let's go ahead and do that. Right click and select elements. And here are the elements, right? So you've got the first name, email, and you can rearrange that if you want. But for now, let's go ahead and add another one. Or actually, let's change, instead of first name, go to the pencil, and you've got the tag. The tag, you don't have to mess with this. This is a way to for you to communicate with autoresponders later if you hook this thing up, but it's a tag that you don't need to configure or mess with it. Just leave as is. So the placeholder is what it shows up in the middle. Now, visible label, let me show you. Visible, and if I click confirm, then this is the label, F name, right? And you can change that, the visible label. But we don't want not visible. All right, so visible, you've got the option to change right here. I think looks better without being visible. So the placeholder, instead of first name, enter your full name. Okay, and you can make it a required or not required field, and you can mask it or not. Let's go ahead and confirm, and then you have it. Enter your full name. Okay, so let's say, and you can do the same thing for all the other fields. You can add as many as you want. For instance, right here, if we want to add, let's say, a telephone number, I can come in here and just go to the plus sign, and then you can pick a text field, for instance, and then right here on the tag, you do phone all caps, visible, not visible, and placeholder, you can do phone number. Is it required, not required? It's up to you. And then let's hit confirm. Now it's here sitting in the back or the bottom, and then I'm going to move it up on top of the subject. Okay, so this is the subject. Once they confirm, it shows up right here. It's the phone number. Okay, so that's how you do it. Okay, let's go ahead, and now once you have the fields or the elements picked out that you want, we need to configure this. So let's go ahead and configure. This is, we're going to talk about, you have two options. One is actually the default right here. It's for an autoresponder that we're going to connect in later videos, but for now we're just going to click this one right here. And here's what you need to configure. Okay, so my email is going to be your email. So this is me at, let's say, alexspain.com. And this is basically the email address where people are going to send me emails, or that I'll receive emails to this email address. The subject line is, and you can before I move on, you can also just hit comma and send it to multiple people or multiple email addresses if you choose to do so. The subject line is basically for you to recognize or to know where the email is coming from. So subject line, let's say contact form from fruit site. Okay, so the subject line that I'll receive or that I'll read, it's going to say that. The action, basically, this is like once people submit the message to you, what do you want to happen? So if I click action, do I want to send them to a particular page on my site, download a document, or even send to a particular URL or a pop-up or something like that? In this case, I don't want nothing to happen, so they're just going to stay on the same page once they submit the form. Okay, and edit automatic message. This is the message that we can configure for people to receive. Okay, so if I want to select email, I can send them an email thank you message saying thank you for getting in touch with us. We will be answering your question right away, or something like that. I'm just coming up with something. Okay, so once you hit confirm, now every time somebody's going to send a message, they'll receive an automatic message saying thank you so much for contacting us, we'll get back to you soon. Okay, let's go ahead and hit confirm. Once that is set up, let's exit out of there. Now the next step is we need to make it, this form right here, look good. Okay, so it definitely needs some work, right? So we right click and we can go ahead and click the appearance button, and then here we're going to change the appearance of this form. Okay, let me move it to the side. So labels would be that one option we disabled and made it invisible, so we wouldn't see the tag on top of each box. Okay, so that's not, if we change anything, we're not going to see here on the form, but we can select, if it was an option, we would be able to change the appearance right here. Okay, so form fields, for instance, right here, if I click bold, it's going to make it bold like the inside. I'm not going to make it bold, but I can make it bigger right here, and I can change the font. I like this font a lot. And the background color you can change to make it look like that, yellow or blue or whatever color you would like. I like to keep it white. You've got the placeholder color. You can change this up. I like to keep it just as is right now. And the same thing with the label color right here. You can change, and it's not going to show because we don't have the label. Okay, the border, you can make it a little darker, and if I come in here, the bottom, I can make it bigger, right? So, or thicker. All right, so I don't want to change. I don't want to make it dark. I like it lighter, and I like it a little bit thinner, like that. All right, so and here is the spacing that you would change. You can change the spaces between the boxes or the fields, and here's on the height. You can also change. We're using a lot of the bigger fields form right now, like the input, so it looks better, it looks more professional. I like the way it looks right now. So same thing, if you want to make sure, like for instance the border, the corners is 3, let's move to 6 to see how it looks. Let's go back here, 6, and make it 6. Okay, nicely done. I like the way it's looking right now. Alright, so you can add a shadow. I don't like the shadow, I like it flat like it is. And then now the next step is to configure the button. So the color of the button I like, which is green, right? So I like this green right here for a button, and I don't want to, like for instance, when people hover over the button, I want it to change color to a darker green, right? So let's go ahead and do that. It's not going to show right now because we're still working on this form. The label, it's not active. Let's go ahead and work with the alignment. So for instance, the alignment right now is set to left of the box. So as you can see, if I move the size or change the size of the box, nothing changes, but the button, if I move to centered, Now it's centered with the box. Okay, so we're going to keep it left, and then we're going to make the position actually under or on top. Let me change it for you to see on the right side. I like it under. Okay, and the same thing with the corners. We're just going to make it 6 so it fits with the same shape as the fields. Okay, the border, I don't like borders on buttons, so we're just going to get rid of it. And now let's work on the, oh, it's got the same font, and let's just make sure that it's a little bit bigger, easy for people to see. And the space at the top, I can move it up and down, but I like it like that. And the size here is the 33% of the entire width. So I want to do like a full width, and the height of the button, I want to make it bigger. You see what I'm saying? That looks good. And we're going to make it bold and probably 26. Alright, so that looks good. Now if I want to change what the button says, all I have to do is just right click and just select button, and then submit. Let's go ahead and submit your message. Alright, you also have the option to add an icon to the button, and you can choose to configure to put it on the left side, on the right side, and just by clicking icon right here. Okay, but we're gonna go ahead and not add one for now and just leave it as is. Now I just have to center, and you can stretch it as long as you want, and it's looking good. Okay, so we're almost done with our site now, and so let's go ahead and finish this video for now, and I believe on the next video we're going to be able to finish the site.
I can't stop the love we made.